Alright, what's up, Dragon Brood? Today's video should be pretty short. We have just a few preview cards from day 3 of spoilers for, or I guess previews, for Secrets of Strixhaven. A couple are from international sites, so they do have some translations. We don't know how accurate they're going to be, but we're going to start with Maelstrom Artisan. It is 1 red for a 3/2 Minotaur Sorcerer. It does have haste, so that's worth noting. And it enters prepared, and then it has rock salvo, so 1 and a red. It's a sorcery, destroy target non-basic land. This is actually probably the most straightforward of the prepared creatures, and it's not bad. A 3 mana 3/2 with haste is actually borderline playable, right? But each turn, actually, this is interesting. I just realized this is not like the other prepared cards that have a way to prepare it. This just enters prepared, so you get 1 use of rocket salvo to destroy target non-basic land, but then you don't have a way to prepare it again. So I believe it was yesterday, or maybe the day before, I can't remember, but there was a land, the colorless land, that lets you prepare a creature. So now we see what the use is. Because so far, up till now, all the creatures we've seen had an option or an ability that prepared itself. This is the first one we've seen that doesn't. And I don't know if that still makes the land playable. But this is actually pretty interesting. Because for 5 mana, you get a 3/2 haste, destroy target, non-basic land. Could be useful. I don't know. But it's one that's at least worth considering. It's kind of a probably going to be a metagame dependent card, but it's definitely interesting. This one won't be standard legal. This is one of the insert cards, but Triumph of the Hordes is getting reprinted, which is a somewhat arguably, I guess, problematic card at times in Commander, but it's really, really good. So 4 mana, sorcery, and until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1, and gain trample and infect. So a lot of times, if somebody's just attacking you with a bunch of tokens, they just end the game. So yeah, interesting card though to see on the reprint list, but not terribly surprising. All right, then we have Spectacular Skywhale, which is a 2 and red-white, so a 4 mana 1/4 elemental whale with flying. It has Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, this creature gets +3/+0. And if 5 or more mana was spent to cast it, put 3 +1/+1 counters on this instead. It's an uncommon. Like, occasionally you might get the 3 counters or something, but if anything, might be worth noting that it's an elemental. But other than that, this probably won't see any play. We have Thunderdrum Soloist, 1 and a red for a 1/3 dwarf bard with reach. Okay. Opus, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. If 5 or more was spent to cast a spell, this creature deals 3 to each opponent instead. This is fine. We've seen different versions of this over the last, gosh, I don't know, it feels like 5 or 6 years of standard. There's always 1 or 2 of these available. I think there's even 2 now available in standard, because there's the Otter and the 1/3 Archer, I think. So could you build a deck that just pings your opponent every time you're casting spells? Yeah, probably. This combined with Ohir, Ashenil, that type of thing. Like, that's an actual real deck you could play. So nothing crazy. But is this card stellar? No, it probably goes into exactly 1 deck, and that's probably it. Muse Seeker, 1 and a blue for a 1/2 elf wizard. It has Opus. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card, then discard a card unless 5 or more was spent to cast that spell. Now, here is one that's actually potentially very good. Every spell is basically a draw discard, right? Like, I think there's a lot of decks that would take that as an option, right? I mean, even if you're just playing some type of discard gain abilities deck, if you're trying to fill your graveyard with an Aberrant Oculus, if you're playing Lessons potentially, to just go through more cards and discard to your monuments. Like, there's a bunch of things you could do with a card like this. This is actually pretty cool. I think this could find a home somewhere. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a 1/2, so it's not doing a lot of fighting in combat, but you're really playing it because of the ability. Steal the Show, 2 and a red for a sorcery. Choose one or both. Target player discards any number of cards, then draws that many. Steal the Show deals damage equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard to target creature or planeswalker. Oh, this is a fun and interesting card. So you can, well, actually it's target player. So if you do something where people take damage for drawing, that could be a thing. So some commander decks are going to want this. But also just discarding your hand to draw that many is good. But also, if you're already playing a deck that wants a lot of things in the graveyard, a self-mill situation, whatever, you can discard, draw, and then deal damage for a pile that's in your graveyard. Now, admittedly, it's not to an opponent. It's just to a creature or planeswalker for balance purposes, but that's still fine. I think that actually still leaves this bordering on playable in the right decks. And we've seen enough cards already that care about stuff going in and out of the graveyard or whatever, so this could be a decent card for something like that. Additionally, again, if you're just trying to fill your graveyard from your hand, you need to discard some stuff, this could be the right card for that type of deck also. So lots going on with this card, a few places that this could potentially fit in. Campus Composer, 3 and a blue for a 3/4 Merfolk Bard. It has Ward 2, this creature enters prepared. And then the spell is Aqueous Area, 4 and a blue, create a 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. This is fine for an uncommon. It does happen to be a merfolk. I'm not sure if that's going to matter for people or not. You kind of like we saw with the other card, right? This is a one-time, technically, additional spell because it doesn't have a way to prepare itself. It has to just have something else prepared after the initial time. 5 for a 3/3 elemental with flying isn't great, but it's technically a free spell, so you don't mind too much. I think the real issue on this card is the cost, right? It's a 4 mana, 3/4. It does have Ward 2, so it's hard to get rid of, but I just don't know that a lot of decks are going to want to pay 4 for a 3/4, effectively do nothing until you just spend more mana. I think that's just going to keep it from being able to make the cut, unfortunately. All right, we have Zaffai and the Tempests. 7 mana, wow, so 5 red blue for a 5/7 human bard sorcerer. It is legendary. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its cost. Whoa. If you can ramp this into play, whether that be from mana artifacts or anything that can reduce the cost, this card's really strong. Like, this is probably going to be a fun commander for people to play, right? You find ways to get this on the battlefield quickly, and then you're getting a bunch of free stuff, so that's pretty cool. It's a 5/7, so it will hold its own pretty well. I honestly, even as a one-of, if you're playing some type of, I don't know, Jeskai control type thing, man, just getting a card draw spell, you know, one of your big payoffs, whatever big spell you want to play. Like, this card, again, I think it's 7. You're not going to play a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. You know, that's a lot of mana. But, man, if this hits the battlefield, ooh, boy, the impact this card can have is going to be huge. Resonating Loot, 2 red, blue for an artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast instants and sorcery spells. Or you can tap it to draw a card. Well, I guess you get that anyway, not even or. But you tap it, draw a card, activate only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. So, 4 mana that turns all your land into double if you're using it to cast instants or sorceries. And then you just draw a card, but you have to have 7 or more cards in hand. I mean, this is very likely playable, right? We've seen a few big spells already in this set. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. We have some already in Standard that we've not been playing a lot of because they're kind of pricey. But this could be good. Even, I think we just mentioned, you know, a Jeskai control type deck could play this. But, because even if you're just using that mana to, all right, I'll just pay 2 during your end step, or maybe 4, I guess, from 2 lands during your end step and consult the star charts, right? I only use 2 lands to do that. I can still leave up another counter or removal spell or whatever we want to do, right? There's a lot of options here. Now, it does still take up a slot in your deck, and it does cost 4 mana. So there is something you have to consider in your opportunity cost there. But overall, this card is pretty interesting. Even if it doesn't do a lot right now, it's a type of card you keep your eye on, because down the road, in a 3-year standard, there will probably be an opportunity for this card to actually show itself. Traumatic Critique. X blue red. Instant. Traumatic Critique deals X damage to any target. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Yeah, this card's solid. I mean, it's literally red, blue, draw 2, discard a card. Like, 2 mana, draw 2, discard 1. But the upside at instant speed is occasionally I can just also take out a creature and then draw 2, discard 1. Yeah, this card's absolutely going to see some amount of play, right? It's not possible that this card doesn't get played. Like, I would be stunned if this isn't playable. Like, this is a fantastic card. There's so many times a control deck or whatever, not even a control deck, right? Again, if we're talking about a draw, discard, lessons, whatever type deck, right? You just draw 2, discard 1, seems fine. But the fact that you can sometimes just remove a thing and get the same ability, like, that seems solid. This is a really strong card. I don't remember if we covered this one yesterday, but I'm going to go and include it. But Landscape Painter, 1 and a blue, for a 2/1. This creature enters prepared. Again, doesn't have a way to prepare itself after initially. And Vibrant Idea, you can pay 4 and a blue, draw 2 cards. It's a Merfolk wizard, so if you want to have this as a Merfolk thing, maybe. But that's kind of the only upside to this card, I think. I mean, don't be wrong, just like a free, not a free, but a extra spell that you can just pay and draw 2 cards is alright. But it is at sorcery speed, so it makes it even less exciting. I feel like this is one, if we could have found a way to put an instant speed spell on it, I think it would have still been balanced and fair and been reasonable for a common. But it's fine. If you're playing limited, you'll probably still play it, because late in the game, getting to draw 2 is great. But I don't think we're playing it in any type of constructed format. And I guess we're calling this Orysa, maybe? But we'll go with that. Orysa Tide Choreographer. 4 and a blue, so 5 mana for a 2/2. Okay, before I even read this ability, it has to be good if you're making me pay 5 mana for a 2/2, even on an uncommon. But it's a Merfolk Bard, it's legendary. This spell costs 3 less to cast if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater. When it enters, draw 2 cards. Okay, that's reasonable. Now, how often are we going to get the discount? That's the tough part. Like, I don't think this is going to get discounted that often. I mean, there are some situations where you're playing sealed or draft and you have 3 or 4 creatures staring at your opponent's 3 or 4 creatures. And then, like, maybe you can get the discount and play this for 2, and that's cool. Then it's just pay 2, draw 2 cards, and that seems really good. Get a 2/2. But anytime it's not, paying 5 for a 2/2, draw 2 cards doesn't feel great. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. Paying 5, get 2 cards, and you get a body, still reasonable. Just doesn't feel good. So this is limited playable, probably at best, but I can't picture any type of 60 card deck that would want something like this. Unless they had a way to play it for free, just to be able to draw the 2 cards, bouncing it or blinking it every turn. I just had an interesting realization about today's previews. They were all blue and red. Like, I guess we're doing them by Lorehold school or house or whatever we call them. So yeah, maybe we'll see what the next couple of days bring. I want to know though, how do y'all feel about having land destruction on a creature? I think that was one of the more interesting things we saw today. And what do you think about that crazy 5/7? Right, getting to play stuff for free seems very cool too. But either way, that's all I have for now. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out the other previews. We'll see you next time.